Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Hardwired Dog Training. I'm your co-host, Nathaniel Beatty, and this is our host, Bungie. And Bungie is a 7-week-old border collie at this point. And one of the major things that we have to think about is what food are we going to feed our new dog? So when we came home from the breeder, not only did he just want to eat me, but he wants to eat actual meals too. And the breeder was feeding him Purina puppy chow. And I'm not going to say anything bad about any different brands or anything in this, and I'm not going to necessarily recommend certain brands to you, but I am going to show you a few things that you should be on the lookout for, because the bags that are sold by these companies are marketed towards humans, not towards dogs. And so they might say natural flavoring and then have these cool little pictures and stuff on it, but that really doesn't mean a lot to your dog. And so I'm going to show you the first thing you should do when picking up any bag of food or treats. And that is, when you see this on the shelf, the first thing you want to do is read the front. It says training rewards, right? So these are treats. And it says bacon flavor. And the problem is, when I turn it around, the first thing after reading the front is to read the ingredients, because I want to make sure that this has good, wholesome ingredients for my dog. And so when I read bacon flavor, I expect bacon to be the number one ingredient, right? Well, that's not the number one ingredient. The number one ingredient of this training treat is pork liver. The number two ingredient is pea flour. Number three is potatoes, and then dried eggs, and then vegetable glycerin, and then halfway down the ingredient list, because there's a bunch of ingredients, halfway down is bacon. And so bacon in this is relatively minuscule compared to the other ingredients. And so it's really not bacon flavor. It'd be more honest if they said pork liver and pea flour flavor. But that doesn't really appeal to us humans, does it? That doesn't necessarily make it bad for your dog, but it does make me a little less likely to get those treats in the future. Now, what I like as far as treats is these Northwest Naturals ones. I showed them to you in the potty and puppy training video. These ones is pork hearts. It's one ingredient. I turn this over and it says freeze-dried treats, a single ingredient treat, 100% premium freeze-dried pork heart. Now, the only thing that I don't really care for is the word premium there, but the rest of it is freeze-dried pork heart. There's no rule on what makes pork hearts premium. The dog doesn't care if it's premium or the generic brand of pork hearts. It loves pork hearts. So we'll just go with it's 100% pork hearts. And then the other one is chicken breast. And again, it's 100% premium freeze-dried chicken breast. Again, your dog doesn't care if it's premium or cheap chicken breast. It likes the chicken breast. So it's one ingredient, which helps you do a few things. Number one, it helps you see what your dog likes and doesn't like. And number two, if your dog's allergic to it, you know which ingredient it is right away. And so it's a really good idea to get single ingredient treats near the beginning. You don't have to, but I would still say it's a good idea. And then on to dog food. So this is a basic dog food bag. This is Nutrisource. I like that they don't add a whole bunch of cute little pictures and everything like a bunch of other companies do that make you seem like if you feed this to your dog, it'll be a good, active, happy dog, right? But Nutrisource says that this is chicken meal and rice recipe. And remember what I told you to do. You turn around, look at the ingredients. Well, the very first ingredient is chicken meal. Second is chicken. Third is brown rice. Fourth is chicken fat, not flat. That wouldn't make sense. And then fish meal and oatmeal and barley and sunflower oil. Kibble has to have binders in it, and grains are a cheap, easy binder. And so, yes, your dog can eat plants. It's not a strict carnivore, though they are carnivores. And that brings me to the next point, that though they can eat grains, and in a sense, maybe they should eat grains, but grains are not the main part of a dog's diet. And so when I flip over a bag of dog food, one thing I don't want to see is the very first ingredient or second ingredient being wheat or corn. You want meat to be the first few ingredients. Hopefully the first three, if you can get one like that. The first two is great, but definitely it needs to be the first one. And so that all said, the next thing that I want to talk about is transitioning your dog food from whatever the breeder is feeding to whatever you're going to go to. And so what I did, I pre-measured these out and I put dates on them so they're just ready. This is 3/4 of a cup of dog food. Now, there is some Purina in here. Now, Purina Puppy Chow says 3/4 for a dog of his weight. 3/4 of a cup for a dog of his weight. And then Nutrisource also says 3/4 of a cup for a dog of his weight. So I didn't really have to do a whole lot of math there, but you need to make sure that you're following the feeding guidelines and know that those feeding guidelines are per day, not per meal. And so what I did is, when you transition your food, you don't want your dog to have any issues with diarrhea or allergies or anything else. Hey, that's not food. This is the food. Yeah, that's what I thought. Now all of a sudden he's interested. And he's also eating me. But that's beside the point. Anyway, so what you do when transitioning dog food is you want to go slowly. About 8 days would be a good practice. And so I divided everything. Since it's 3/4 of a cup, multiply it by 2, that makes it 1/8. And so I added 1/8 of a cup of Nutrisource in on the first day, and on the second day I added another 1/8 of a cup, so 2/8 on the second day, 3/8 on the third day, 4/8 on the fourth day. And so you do that so that you make sure that your dog is going slowly. And so when you add 1/8 of a cup on the first day of Nutrisource, the rest of the food is going to be 7/8 Purina Puppy Chow. The second day it's going to be 6/8 Purina Puppy Chow. And so that's how you do that. You transition slowly over a period of about 8 to 10 days, and then it'll be fine. He's a little alligator snapping at me like that, huh? You're just feisty. A feisty one. Anyway, so that's how you transition your dog food. Now, I want to make a very quick side note about water. When you water your dog, do not just lay a water bowl down and have him drink as much as he wants. It's not the truth that the dogs will just instinctively drink as much as they need, because there is a such thing as drinking too much water. And also don't add additives into the water, especially as a puppy. They really don't matter that much. They really don't help all that much unless your dog's just not drinking normal water. But as far as amount of water, that really depends on your dog. But most puppies, a half a cup every 2 hours is enough. And so just make sure that they have about that much. If they have a whole lot more than that, like if they're drinking a cup every hour, you're going to have a lot of accidents in the house and your dog can develop some issues, and you don't want that. So measure out your dog's water, give it to them in supervised, measured amounts, and you'll have less accidents throughout the house. Anyway, that's all I have for you today. You got anything to add to that? No? Okay. So I will see you guys next time on Hardwired Puppy Training.